afternoon. My name is Nancy Bancroft, and 3 years ago Nancy Bernier and I did a film of our property, and a lot of you said that you enjoyed it, and now with the social isolation that we have, we thought it'd be a good time to do another one. The last video was taken in July, and I remember going through the garden and saying, oh, that's gone by, that's gone by, that's gone by. So here it is, the late spring, and so we're going to see some things that we didn't see then. 3 years older from the time we took the last one, and so I've decided that I'm going to be a little less fussy about weeds. And so my philosophy is have some beautiful showy flowers, and the eye will go to that, and if people focus on the weeds, they just kind of miss out. So, a lot of people focus on buying flowers, but it's also helpful to consider different kinds of plants that don't have blossoms, like this beautiful fern right here. I don't know if you can see, it's actually like a pale teal, and the veins on it are purple, and it's going to get probably twice that size, look a little bit more lush, and it looks really pretty next to this green hosta right here, two-tone green hosta. This is just starting to bloom, and this is a Dianthus, and it'll be like a whole little carpet of it. And again, it has the pale teal greenery and the very showy flowers. Dianthus are really the family of carnations. These are allium, and you'll see several all around. They're in the onion family. They don't smell very good, but they're quite pretty and showy this time of year. And they dry real nicely. After they go by, they just have the green stems, and you can just put them in a vase, no water, and dry them. And one year I sprayed some of them red and some of them green, and made flower arrangements for at Christmas time. As I look at them now, I don't know if they're going to continue to be as pretty as I used to think they were, because they look a little bit like the COVID virus. This here is Miss Canada. She's not open yet. I have one that in an area that gets more sun, and so it's a little more open. I'll show you. This is called Jacob's Ladder. You know that song, Climbing Jacob's Ladder?
Yes.
Yeah, well, there you go. Here they are. And this is a nice shade of blue as well. Blue is kind of the rarest color in
For flowers?
Flowers.
Hmm.
Over here we have primrose. You've heard of the primrose path. Well, this is the path, and here are the primroses. This particular variety is called candelabra.
That is stunning.
They kind of go where they like to go, and but they're fairly early flower, and I think very showy. This is the beginning of the irises. I've had several irises go by. The small ones, the early ones have gone by, but now the taller bearded irises are starting.
Will all of these be the same color, Nancy?
These are.
Yeah.
Yeah, this area here. And then the coral bells, they're kind of fun, especially on a windy day like today. They kind of dance around. They've got a very pretty foliage. And then...
And a very delicate flower.
Very delicate flower. Snow in summer, and it just looks so fresh to me. And I guess I'm a sucker for these, the foliage that's kind of like this pale teal. It just looks so peaceful to me.
Now, will they bloom for a while?
They will.
They will?
About a month.
Hmm.
I think they look really cool. I wanted to show you this lilac.
Oh, I smell it.
So these, I don't know if you can see how large each of those individual blossoms are. They're about the size of a nickel. They're really big. And don't they have a wonderful smell?
Oh, absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, come stick your nose in that. It's so beautiful.
Can you smell it? Bachelor buttons.
Bachelor buttons. And I want to swing around because I have a rare That's the button right next to the traditional blue one, which I love the blue. But, so here's that.
These we will be seeing bloom in a couple of weeks.
We'll come back and visit them.
Absolutely.
And then here's that beautiful bachelor button. It's a gorgeous color, but also an unusual shape.
Very
pretty.
unusual.
Yep.
It even looks beautiful closed.
Yep. That's it. Here's this little fellow here. Here's one that hasn't opened up yet.
Love that.
And then this one's just starting. And this one's mature. But look at this variety over here.
Yes.
Isn't that unusual?
Oh,
And then up
pretty.
against the yellow baptisia.
Oh.
This is called Kyria Japonica. And it falls kind of like the bridal veil. But you see the little flowers on them are bright yellow. And they look like little pom-poms. They look like the flowers we used to make out of tissues. You know, this is a favorite. This is a Viburnum. And this one is called Snowdrop. Isn't it lovely? Look at a branch down here.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna take that. How pretty. Oh my gosh.
And here, these are sepals. These are won't reproduce. This is the flower that will make the seed, and this is what makes the. Here's that Dianthus. It's that very bright magenta color. Another lilac that's just about gone by. A nice double, fairly dark color, but it's fading in the light as it ages. But all the lilacs I have, I buy for scent. There isn't one that doesn't have a beautiful scent. And then we've got some hens and chicks here. A couple weeds in the way. And here we have bright red roses and clematis, and that'll be open maybe in a week or two. That'll be pretty to walk through soon. This, I've been having trouble with rhododendrons. The deer have been eating the buds, and so I saved this one. It was pink, and then it turned to white. And I have two others that are large that I'll show you, but not a bud on them this year. So I've been grooming the dog. We have a Labradoodle, and I brush her in the morning, and I've been taking the hair off the comb and keeping it, and I've got some netting, and I'm going to put the hair and make little in the netting and make little sachets and try hanging those in the shrubs, hoping that the smell of the dog will keep the deer away. I don't know, it's an experiment. So here are some iris that'll be open next week.
They're wrapped up in tissue paper.
Yep, they're just starting.
Look at the size of those poppies.
These will be beautiful. And there's the painted daisies. Very
Lovely.
showy. That'll be all next week. And these narcissus smell wonderful, but they're just about gone by here. And over here is a little shade garden.
And such a nice sound.
And with the two different kinds of Japanese ferns, slightly different colors. Call it a jack in the pulpit. It has a little pulpit in there, and you lift it up and there's a little person. This is the traditional old-fashioned lilac.
The kind my grandmother had.
Kind everybody's grandmother had, and just brings fond memories.
It does.
But right over here, there's a viburnum called Snowball, for obvious reasons, and it is seeking the sun. Little tiny baby iris.
I don't think I've
Beautiful.
ever seen one that small.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that is adorable.
You are. Yep. Privacy from the road.
Oh, lovely.
I should plug in a. Mom would be very proud of me. I just bought one plant this year. And that's this one over here. Had to have it. Last Christmas, a friend of mine gave me a beautiful arrangement with a regular holly, and then she had some of this variegated holly in it, and it was just with the berries, and I think it was just really beautiful. So I said, I have to have one of these. So I started calling around to all the flower places around, and nobody had it because they said that it's not guaranteed in this area. But she lives in Biddeford, and she's had hers for several years, so I took on the challenge and I ordered it online. Had it a week, and it's doing really, really well, so I'm happy for it. It's a female. It's called a honey maid. And lo and behold, my brother was thinning out at his house, and he had 2 hollies he didn't want. So just the other day I planted these hollies. They're not really happy right now because they just got dug up, but there's one about just like 25 feet away, so she's got a good chance of getting berries in the future. We'll see. Oh, here's another one of those Jill and Pulpit. See the little Jill. There's the Pulpit, and there's the little Jill inside.
Sweet.
And this is a native plant, a wild flower, and so they just kind of pop up wherever they want to pop up, and so every year it's a surprise where we're going to get them. You can see a little bit over that one on the top. It starts off mauve. The outside of the blossoms are mauve. There's another one over here that shows a little bit of the color. And then it opens up to white, but in between, you can see how pink that is. And it's lush. I mean, you just have to put your face in it. You just have to do it. And they're little double blossoms, the individual. There you go. This Canada, like the one that I showed you over there, but she gets more sun over here, so she's starting to open up. And she's just the opposite. We saw that one lilac that had the individual florets that were about the size of a quarter, some of them. And this one here is just the opposite. Little teeny, very delicate. So this one gets a little more sun. Another little lilac. Miss Tinkerbell. And look at how delicate she is. She starts off bright pink and she opens up to white. And this is a rebloomer. She will bloom again in midsummer. That's an extra treat. This was a bright Fuchsia Azalea that just went by. We enjoyed very much. Is a memorial to, I had a terrible problem with my cherry trees. I had to cut down 3 cherries last year. They got this canker the year before. I trimmed them a lot. I don't like to use chemicals on them, so I didn't. And the way to treat them when you don't use chemicals is to cut off and destroy all of the injured parts and hope for the best, and they did not make it. And our plum tree got it this year. So my future daughter and I spent a good part of the day cutting that plum tree in hopes that we could save it. And right now it's looking pretty good. Look at the size of those individual blossoms. Quite a difference from Miss Tinkerbell and Miss Canada, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Apple tree just finished blooming there. Little crab apple.
I love crab apples. I like to can them just to look at them, not eat them. And Nance, what that's called?
Called the color cone.
Color cone?
Yes. And it smells like lemon.
Oh. I would say that's spruce size. It almost looks like a spruce.
So here we are coming into the moon garden. So the minute you come through here, everything in the moon garden, except for the flowers on the peach tree, which they've gone by, everything in here is white. And so when the moon is half full or more, like now, you see all the flowers all night long. Over here is a very leggy white lilac, but it smells wonderful. And if you can see the windows there, those are our bedroom windows. And so we get the breeze from the ocean that blows the scent of these right, they're right at window height.
Double white.
And double white. Beautiful, lovely scent. Like I say, they are the same height as our bedroom windows, so that's very nice. But because it was so leggy, I tried to cut some of the branches earlier on to see if it would grow bushier, and it didn't. So last year, at the recommendation of somebody in our garden club, I planted a white clematis here, and it's going to start blooming soon, and it fills in the legginess, and it looks really lovely. And you can see how high this thing grows, way up to the very top. Again, you can see those blossoms from the bedroom window. This is a magnolia that is going to be open next week. These are just the buds here.
Boy, I didn't know we had magnolias in Maine.
Oh, we have all kinds. But this one here is rugged enough to handle it. This is a rose of Sharon, so this blooms late in the summer and into early fall, so it's just starting to get its leaves. And this is a hydrangea, so it's, again, late summer, early fall, so it's not blooming yet. Bridal Veil. And this is a different white lilac. This is a single blossom. This was Tom's favorite, and because of the scent. It's starting to go by, but smell that one.
Little puffy blooms.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. And then here we have, these are going to be different white flowers down here, but here we have the Solomon seal.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And here's the little one here is called the white feather hosta. And it's not fully open yet, but you see it's pretty much all white with green veins in it. Quite different.
They love it in this little shady nook.
They do. You see all the different kinds. These big ones to little ones. This is yet another variety. Just starting to open. You can see this one is kind of there. This one's open. See how beautiful they are. And even when the flowers go by, you have this beautiful shrub. And here are the showing off poppies. Look at these beautiful white poppies.
And they do show off.
Look at that. With
How long will those blooms last, Nancy?
Oh, it depends on the wind. But you see
Okay.
there's a lot of them. They could last a day, they could last a week. Depends if we have, heavy rains. If we
But
have
they'll
lot
last a
of
while
wind.
because they don't all open at the same time.
That's
Yeah.
right. I have the Prince of Orange. I've got some peach, some pink, and some white. Yep. So here the white bearded iris. The first one open. These are just starting to open, so there'll be more. We'll see this one in a week or two. This is a mock orange. Again, very highly scented, white. And then when we come through the pergola, we're leaving the moon garden and we return to color. So the perennial geranium is just starting to bloom.
I do love those.
And this will all be flower. Here we have one of the peach poppies. Let's see if I can get in here and turn it around so you can see it. Come on, smile for the camera.
Oh my goodness, you are a beauty.
See what I'm saying about the wind? What's happened here? So we need to enjoy them when they're here. Another Viburnum, another Spirea. Beautiful flowers in the spring. And then the leaves, of course, are a gorgeous color.
Beautiful plum. And you get fruit.
We do get fruit, except mostly the squirrels get them. They seem to like them just before they're ripe for us. Starting here, this chocolate one is kind of interesting. Took a little beating from the wind today. Beautiful beard.
A mauve and purple. And yellow. I couldn't think this up.
Starting, look at this one. Just isn't that beautiful when it's just starting?
And then that one is open.
This one is open.
Yeah. Oh, pretty. So many on there, Nancy.
Yep. And of course they've got that nice sticky.
Which the ants love.
Well, the ants, what happens is the balls are so tight they can't open on their own. So they secrete a
liquid?
Sweet syrup that attracts flies, certain flies and ants. And then the ants go in there trying to get the syrup and help the petals open up.
So I have heard that without ants they will not open, or is that not true?
Certainly the old-fashioned ones won't. Now they have some new varieties. Of course, they're always working, hybridizing and trying to improve them. So the newer varieties, many of them can open on their own. And then of the new varieties, they're not all ones that have this many petals either. They have some that have just one layer of petals or 2 layers of petals, and they can open on their own. Sometimes you can catch a hummingbird in it. So here I am again, Nancy Bancroft, and behind the camera is Nancy Bernier, who's doing all the work. And I'm trying very hard to convince her to come and help me take care of my peaches, because you see, this is going to be a very good year for peaches. These are all little fuzzy, beautiful little peaches. However, if you don't want them to look like grapes, I have to come and take off most of the peaches and leave maybe on a branch like this, maybe 3. And I'm being generous. There's some people that just would put 1 per branch, so you get nice big juicy peaches. But it's a pain in the butt to do this because you see the tree is like 20 feet tall. So I get what I can reach, and it's very boring work.
So Nancy, if you were to take that many, as you said, off that branch, what would be the size of that peach?
Probably, what's this, like
that's big.
2.5, 3 inches, 3 inches across, I would say.
Lovely.
And really juicy. I've got 1 more bag. They freeze really well. I got 1 more bag in the freezer. So these will be ready, I think August. I always forget. I get pretty much a year's supply of them.
From this tree alone?
Well, I have a second one, but the other one doesn't get as much sun, so it's not a good producer. This one here is where we get the bulk of them. The thing is that this is kind of a little interesting thing. Deer love to eat peaches just before they're ready for people. They're still hard, and they take a bite here and a bite there. And when they come, they climb up, put their legs up, and they knock down a whole bunch of them. And so I have tried different animal urines. I have tried garlic clips. A few years ago, I discovered what works. I don't think my neighbors like it particularly, but what I do is I string some white blinking Christmas lights on the tree, and I plug them in with an extension cord, and I keep them here. Just when I start smelling the peaches, then I know that, okay, the deer are going to be coming at night. So, and the squirrels come during the day, the chipmunks, so I put that string on there, and we have not had a problem ever since. Here the Magnolia is starting to open up. It's going to be covered. We see a lot of buds on there, but here's one, and they're thick, waxy, very luscious petals, very intricate on the inside.
Very intricate.
And when they go by, they turn dark tan, and they look like leather. So here's one that's just gone by, and you can see that it's starting to change its color. and it's still got a little white, so it doesn't fully look like leather yet, but you can see how, what I was talking about, how it's getting that way, maybe over here. Now it's still got petally look, but it will look like it's just been fashioned out of leather. These aren't the showiest of lilacs. This is a French variety, very late. It's just coming in. You see, not all of the blossoms are open yet, but it's the most highly scented one, and we have it in here in the patio area where we dine sometimes, and off close to the deck, so we smell these while we're having meals out here.
Beautiful.
So it's really
And
nice.
it do smell so lovely.
Yep. And the flowers are very, very delicate. So this is another variety that has the very, very tiny little petals on it, very delicate. And Tinkerbell here is a rebloomer. So she is in full bloom in late spring, like now, and then later in the summer, she'll surprise us with a few more blossoms.
You're a good girl.
So these are the painted daisies, and usually they're about this big around, like a regular cultivated daisy, and they're lovely. You see there's some pink ones and some fuchsia ones, but this year I don't know if they're all going to be tiny like this, and I think it's because of we've had cold weather and we've had dry weather, so I'm not sure what the cause is, but they're, I would say, almost twice as small, or they're about half the size, I guess you'd say, as they usually are. These here are some are going to be pink, dusty pink, dusty rose, I guess you call it, and some of them are peach. What I don't know is, here we've got lovely irises, and what I don't know is this peony coming up. This is the first year this one blooms, and I don't remember which variety it is. And
Color are these, Nancy?
I think this is the Prince of Orange, which is the very large, bright orange poppies. And it looks nice, I think, against the purple. And that iris over there opens, and those Siberian irises will still be open because they're going to pop any day. I find it fun to pair things. It opens up to the sun, and when it's shady, it closes up like this. You can see the bright color.
Very much so.
Yep. So here we have another very lush variety of lilac, and you wouldn't think that this is actually the same genus as the little Tinkerbell that has the little tiny florets. These here are about, what, the size of a nickel or even a quarter, and very lush and beautiful and highly scented. So this here is an unusual Columbine. Those of you who know this plant would recognize the leaves are the same as the traditional old-fashioned one, and we can go over and look at a traditional one in a little bit, but this one is a double one. It's a more unusual, and it's a pretty dusty rose, traditional one, which the leaves are the same, but look at how different the blossom is.
This is
Turk's cap.
Turk's cap lily.
Yeah.
I've seen them, but I never knew the name of them. How fun.
So the last time we did the original video, and when was that? How many years ago?
2017.
2017. I had talked about these. They called gooseneck, but they weren't blooming yet. And I said that they were going to bloom and look like a flock of geese, and there they are.
Oh, cute.
So this rose of Sharon usually starts blooming at the end of August, and it's got a bud there, and it's got one open right here. It's very lovely. You see it's white, but it has a red center. It's a double, and when all these little bumps over here open up, you can almost see them open up before your eyes. There's some up there that are blooming. It's quite lovely. Okay, so this hydrangea here is called unique. I'm telling you that because I don't know the varieties of most of my plants. People say, well, what is this beautiful lily? And I'll say, well, can't you tell? It's a pretty pink lily. So I don't know the variety, but I do know that this is called Unique, and it grows 12 by 12. There's an expression in gardening that says when you're buying a plant, buy the dog and not the puppy. So to know, especially in like shrubs, how big they're going to get. Otherwise, you're spending all your time trimming. A lot of work for nothing. So this one here, the blossoms look very similar to Unique, but it only grows 4 feet wide and 6 feet high. See, very pale green when it starts off, and then it'll get to a cream and pink. And this one is only going to be 3 by 3. So there's hydrangeas for all locations. This is another variety of hydrangea. This one is called Twist and Shout. It's a lace cap. These are actually not the flowers. These are the sepals. The flowers are right here. And right now it's all a beautiful shade of blue, actually a couple shades of blue. These are pale and much darker blue up here. But they will start changing, and some of them will stay blue, and some will turn pink, and some will turn purple. This is a very pretty one, I think, the shape of it, with the little ruffled petals.
And how would you say it's different, Nance?
Well, it's got this little scrunchy thing in the middle. It's almost a double, not quite a full double. And then it's got the star, so again with 3 colors, which are pretty, and then this little kind of funny center. And if you look at them from a distance, they look like they have curly hair. A similar color, but no ruffly center. It's very similar to the one in the moon garden, but more pink. Looks nice up against the echinacea.
I agree.
Look at the bees on it. Loaded with bees.
Nancy, do you trim that to get those proportions?
No. This is called bird's nest spruce, and this is the way it grows. Sometimes I trim a little bit off the side there so we can walk through the path. My neighbor's daughter that died, he said, I used to call this firecracker, and just because it's kind of like and so he said that his daughter, who had recently died, was a firecracker. Her name was Lori, so I named it after her.
Ah, very appropriate and beautiful.
There's another beautiful hydrangea. And this little bee over here thinks so too.